Hi, hello food drawers, how's it going? It is insanely hot today and I cannot turn on the AC because I turned it on and saw black mold inside, so I'm not gonna do that. Also, I'm in my spring allergy era, so if my eyes look red, that's why, and if my nose looks red, that's why. Today it is time for another installment of Is It Learning or Is It Brain Rot, aka TikTok art tips, all of which I found on Pinterest because I don't have TikTok, which should always be taken with a bucket of salt, just like any short form content out there. And obviously everything I'm going to say is my personal subjective opinion that you have the right to agree or disagree with, and that is what the comment section is for. Okay, with that said, let's get started.
Take a piece of artwork from one of your favorite really experienced artists. What I want you to do is trace it. But we're not going to trace it from the outside. We're going to be tracing it from the inside. This is how we trace to learn. Taking this piece of artwork and turning it into a bunch of shapes and guidelines. In my case, I'm tracing to learn how the form of this body pose works. But this is what I have, and now without tracing, I'm going to draw it again. Now, you might not get this the first try, and that's perfectly okay. Now you see, I'm expecting to make a mistake here. Because in order to improve on something, we need to fix the things we are doing wrong. This is just going to help us see it better. Put your artwork over your original trace sketch. Keep in mind the things you did right. Try and fix up the things that weren't as accurate. Using this tracing method can help a lot of you figure out what you need to be focusing on.
Okay, here's the thing with tracing. First of all, I have no problem with tracing for the study purposes. I think it can be very beneficial to trace to learn the shape, language, and the technique of a particular artist and stuff. As long as you don't post it and don't claim it as your own work without credit, I think that's totally fine. But you have to choose what you trace wisely. Choose someone who's actually very skilled and specializes in anatomy and figure drawing, or trace from like a real life photo. Because here in this drawing, like these upper arms are a bit different length. This one is much longer and is kind of bending, like the neck is sliding off to the side when it should be more in the middle with the way this character is standing. And I'm not shaming the artist, like there's nothing wrong with having your anatomy be a bit off sometimes. But when you trace something like this, you're simply going to repeat the same mistakes that the original artist has made, and in that case, what's the point of doing it? What is the benefit? So just be careful because it can be tricky and end up doing more harm than good. And never, ever trace or reference screenshots from anime. Ever. Anime is not famous for its accurate anatomy. Those poor animators make 100 frames per day. They couldn't care less about anatomy. Never ever heard of painting from dark to light. I feel like it is always from light to dark. Because I mean, with most materials, it is kind of impossible to go from dark to light. Like with watercolor or markers, you can always go darker, but you cannot really go lighter. This would actually break my brain, I think. But I don't know, maybe some of you have tried it. Is it easier to paint this way? Let me know. Well, listen, for some people, this might be the way. And if you feel like that is something that could be fun for you, then by all means, do it. But for me personally, and I don't know if I'm alone in this, but this type of drawing activities always drove me insane. I feel like that would make me even more frustrated. Because I do not really enjoy doodling, like just drawing random sloppy scribbles. When people say like, oh, just make a bunch of bad sketches, make them ugly, make them bad. No, that would make me have a mental breakdown. I need it to look good. I need it to look clean, aesthetically and compositionally pleasing. I need it to be complete, otherwise I'll cry. Again, that's a me problem. I'm just sharing. But the way I usually cured my art block was just by taking a break. Just forbidding myself to draw. And not taking a break from drawing, but still sitting there and constantly thinking about drawing. No, you should be sitting there and forget that you were ever an artist. Forget that drawing was ever a thing for you. And just do something different for a week or 2 or 3 or 4 or however long it might take you to recover. You know, like play a game, read a book, watch a show or something. That was the only way that helped me cure my art blocks naturally, so to speak.
My little munchkins, you guys, the Tate family. Here are 3 easy ways to improve art with examples. Number 1, line art. Okay, line art's very important. Here is what I mean by this. Now, a normal, like an amateur artist, would look at this and go, yeah, it's pretty good. Nothing's wrong with it. And begin coloring, right? Well, you're wrong. It looks flat as hell. Now watch this. I'm making some lines thicker, some cross-hatching in areas. See? You see the difference here? From this eye to this eye. You pick. Which side looks better?
Yeah, I'd say I agree. Line art should vary in thickness and opacity, and cross-hatching can also be pretty great if it fits your style. You don't have to go full JoJo on it like he did here, but some line variation is always good.
Dose number 2. In coloring, don't be afraid to leave white spaces like this. You know, instead of taking a white pen, you know, try leaving some of the paper, you know, bleeding out. It gives it a more natural looking highlight rather than an artificial one if you were to, let's say, use a gel pen.
Yeah, I think if you want to add white highlights, then this is totally the better way to do it rather than like using a gel pen. But I'd say just keep in mind that not every surface will have white highlights. For example, if your character is wearing like a green shirt, there is no way it will have white highlights. Only if it's like leather or latex or some sort of sparkly reflective material.
Number 3. If your sketch is looking a little bit messy, but you still want to work on it and keep adding to it, what you have to do is grab your eraser, lightly streak across it. Now you can keep adding on top of the drawing itself without losing the initial guidelines that you've made.
Oh yeah, totally. Or you can use this thing, you know, a kneadable eraser. I love it so much. You can like knead it so you can make yourself like a small eraser for like smaller details and stuff, or you can use the entire thing to erase something big. I mean, look at that. And it doesn't leave those annoying like eraser crumbs. It just erases and doesn't leave any mess in your sketchbook. It's perfect.
I'm a bad artist, and that's fine. For example, I use a projector to copy my sketches, and I like using photo references. I also mix materials, and I'm sure I do many other things that are considered wrong. But I don't care, because these things make my art making process more efficient. I know my strengths and weaknesses, and I use tools to my advantage. If you can make good art without any aids, that's great. It just might take you twice as long to finish your work. Maybe consider treating your time as your most crucial resource.
I'm confused. I don't think anything she said is considered wrong by anyone. I mean, maybe those freaky old school art school teachers who say that digital art isn't art and anime isn't art, and it isn't art if you're not suffering while doing it. Maybe those people, but their opinion doesn't ever count. She's using a projector to copy her own sketches onto a canvas, so she's not even tracing someone else's drawing or photo, which, even if she was, that would still not make her a bad artist. Like, you're still a great painter. You're painting all this stuff yourself. Mixing materials, I'm not a traditional painter, so I don't know if that is something that's considered wrong. If you know, tell me in the comments, but I don't think it is. And using photo references is like the furthest thing from wrong. It is actually the most right thing you can do, is use references. So I don't know who's telling you all this stuff, girl. You're literally doing everything right. That's fucking crazy. But I mean, technically anything can be a brush if you dip it in paint. Even your penis.
One of the best tips that I learned for drawing portraits in my time in art school. It's going to sound so silly, but bear with me. Here's what I want you to do. Yep, I want you to put it upside down. When you're drawing a portrait, it's never going to look like the person you're drawing until the very end. So your brain's gonna get really frustrated because this drawing that you're spending all this time and effort on isn't looking like the person you're trying to draw. It's all up in your brain. By flipping it upside down, now that's tricking your brain into focusing only on the shapes, the shadows, the lines, the highlights, the little ingredients for this main masterpiece that you're making. It's not focused on making it look like the person. I had to spend thousands of dollars and years in art school to learn tips like that, but I'm sharing them with you for free.
Now that is the craziest thing I've ever heard. I mean, Okay, we all know to flip our canvas back and forth when we're drawing, right? To see all those nasty mistakes. But that usually entails flipping it horizontally. But she's saying to not only flip it vertically, but also not just flip it and see how it looks, but actually paint with your drawing upside down. I've never tried this, but if any of you have used this method, I'd be very curious to know if it's actually helpful or not.
Art hacks that I wish somebody told me earlier. I was always told watercolor is permanent. If you mess up, you can't fix it. Well, guess what? You can.
What? Did they just erase watercolor? What was that? Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. Oh, okay, so it's just magic then. That makes sense.
Another one, when the vibrant river of my Copic marker ran dry, I thought I had to get a new cartridge. Apparently not, just dump hand sanitizer on it, and it's good as new. I wish I knew this sooner.
Oh yeah, this one is a lifesaver. I used to do that all the time when I was drawing with markers, just not with hand sanitizer, but with rubbing alcohol. With how much markers cost, I feel like not doing this is a crime.
Do you have cheap acrylic paint that doesn't work very well, but you don't want to throw it away? Just heat water and cornstarch until it turns into this thick, goopy consistency. Then just mix a little bit in with your cheaper paint and bam, look at that.
That's so cool. I have never worked with acrylics, so I don't know if this is like a popular hack, but I believe it works amazingly. These are such great hacks for traditional artists, oh my god. Okay, but I'm actually kind of into it. Maybe I'm imagining things, but it looks like some creepy horror art. Like, these look like eyes here with some flowers or blood around them. It reminds me of Hereditary, which I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Normally I make this face when I see that someone just spilled paint onto a canvas, but then claim that it has some deep emotional meaning with also a commentary on today's society. Yeah, sure. Or like that banana taped onto a wall thing, or any of that modern art stuff. But this, like this is another one of their painting. And yeah, see, like this is cool because it actually, despite being abstract, it's still very intentional. It has structure, it has composition. Like you can clearly see this face kind of melting. I like it. But when it's just a blob of paint or a freaking banana and people are unironically swinging their wine glasses and discussing the meaning behind it, same with bad, like fake deep movies that instead of working on a good plot, just replace the plot with psychedelic images and call it deep. Or there is this one anime that I'm not gonna name because it's a very popular anime with a big fandom that I absolutely hated for that same exact reason. Not the entire anime. At first I thought it was pretty good until it was not. And that's all I'm gonna say. Okay, I'm actually impressed that they were able to do that. I used to sketch faces like that all the time in my sketchbook, but I was never able to draw the face around it afterwards. But that was like so long ago. Since then I learned that it's just so much easier to draw the head first and then draw the face on the head. I'm sorry, I know this is not an art tip video, but I just clicked on it and this is like the coolest thing I've ever seen. That's crazy cool.
Is this stupid? If I mark my paintbrush at intervals, it's a useful tool in checking relationships between different objects in your paintings or your drawings. How big is that barn? 6. How big is the fence next to it? 3. I can also use it to find the middle of a page if I'm placing a grid. Is this stupid? Or you can use your thumb.
That is the most badass, look at me, I'm an artist move you can pull. Just standing there doing this shit with a brush. Like, oh, don't mind me, just checking my proportions, you know? And then put the brush behind your ear. Does anyone actually do that in real life? I've only ever done that because I thought it looked cool, because I saw it in like movies and stuff. If I wanted to do it the practical way, I'd just put it in my mouth. My mouth has proven to be the best pen, brush, pencil holder there is. Nothing beats it.
I've been thinking a lot about what motivates me to create, and unfortunately, one of my motivating factors is spite. How can you say that spite is a motivating factor, you know? But yeah, it genuinely is. Like, I've thought about the best pieces that I've created, and some of them are genuinely made because I'm like, I'll show you. Yeah, not sure what to do with that.
This person has such a funny laugh. Also, that Loki portrait. But as for motivation, I don't know what motivates me, honestly. It's definitely not spite. I think I'm the complete opposite of that. I'm such a non-competitive person. Competition actually kills my desire to do anything. I hate contests, I hate multiplayer games, I hate team projects. If someone was like, oh, I bet I can draw it better than you. Oh, I bet you cannot draw that. If I were to hear that, I'd just drop my Apple Pencil and go, well, fuck you, I'm not doing anything then. You're so annoying, you made me mad, and now I don't want to do anything. Go play your stupid games on your own. I'm not gonna prove you shit. I hate competition. Can you tell I'm the only child? I don't get motivated by money at all. I don't get motivated by like likes and social media following. No, I mean, I do. Like, positive feedback from other people is definitely a huge motivator for me. But I mean, just the numbers themselves don't motivate me as much. So I think the only thing that can make me actually do something is my sheer interest and passion for it. That's why I don't think I have ADHD or anything like that, because the only times I cannot focus is when I'm working on something I'm either uninterested in or something I was told to do. But when I'm genuinely interested in something, I can stay focused and draw for like 15 hours straight with no breaks. So it was like when Arcane Season 2 came out and my entire feed got flooded with Arcane fan art. Like, every single post was an Arcane fan art. And I was like, dang, I should draw Arcane fan art. It's a trend. It's gonna get traction. Everyone's doing it. And I did watch the show and I loved Season 2 a lot. But for some reason, I just wasn't feeling it. I was like, man, but I don't really want to draw Arcane right now. Like, I don't know why, I just don't. So I never did, and only now I'm starting to work on a little something. You'll see. Yeah, tell me what your motivators are. What are your thoughts about it? I think this was a nice one to wrap up this video on. A little food for discussion. I'm constantly feeling sleepy because of my allergy pills, so I'll probably go take a nap now, or I'll just push myself to work until I want to vomit, which is more likely. But thank you so much for watching. Press like, subscribe, please, and good night, good day, goodbye. You're so gross.